Social Media de Lego, donde nos va a hablar en su conferencia Building Social Media Brick by Brick acerca de cómo detectar necesidades de los consumidores en redes sociales y cómo conseguir este engagement, pero no solo únicamente hacia la empresa, sino también hacia el propio consumidor. Con todos nosotros, Lars Silberbauer.
And a great presentation by Julius. I was very impressed. I'm so happy I live in Ohio. It must be horrible to have all those people knocking on the doors. But if I should give this was about big data, and I think my presentation is more going to be about big emotions and how that can impact your business and how you can use and leverage social media as such. I'm sorry about my voice. I have a cold right now, so if you can't understand what I'm saying, please raise your hands and I'll try to speak up even more. As mentioned, I'm Global Director of Social Media at Lego, so I head up a global team. My team is a core team, and then we have 25 people attached to that team. Just a little bit about Lego. Lego is a toy manufacturer. We are a privately held Danish company. So far, we only have a few percent of our sales actually in Denmark, so we are on 130 markets, so it's really a global operation that we're running. In the last 9 or 10 years, we've been growing almost double digits in all markets. That was also desperately needed because we were almost going bankrupt around 9-10 years ago. Since then, we've had a huge turnaround, and the biggest turnaround that we have experienced was that we have focused completely on the consumer and how to connect with the consumer and how to listen to the consumer and how to engage with the consumer. And if you walk into Lego operations today, you'll find a company that is very, very focused on the consumer and doing that. So this is my team. It's distributed around the world. The core team in US, UK. We're starting out in Singapore next year, and also increasing our staff in UK, US, also in Denmark. And basically what we do is to enable all of our markets, work together with our product teams, developing the strategies, and simply enabling the company to be a more social company. And basically, social media, if we look at that, then what's it all about? For us, it's all about this. It's all about not online dating, but it's all about this emotion you have when you really connect with someone. When you really feel that you are in connection, when you have the cues, you read the cues from that person, you act upon it and you react upon it. And that's how we want to be as a brand. We want to be in that close connection with our consumer. Of course, it doesn't happen perfectly every time. It doesn't for a lot of brands. And quite often you see that brands are more like this. They are a sales guy at a conference acting pretty awkwardly, trying to push their message out, and the consumer is not even paying attention. And more often it's actually like this. We basically leave our consumers hanging in the bar because we are too focused on creating the strategies or looking at our after-action reviews and not actually being there and grabbing the attention. And then we all know what's going to happen. Then this guy will just show up and he will grab the attention of our consumers. Social media is never empty, and if we're not there with our brand message and relating and reacting upon that need of attention from the consumer, our competitors, they will definitely join. So I'll give a small presentation about how we are focusing on the social needs of our consumers, how we are creating value both for the consumers but also for the company based on those social needs, and also how we as a business are trying to move from planning things to actually reacting and acting out things in real time. What we mean about social needs in Lego is that social media is nothing but a set of technologies that enhances our social nature, both as a person but also as a brand and as a business. So if we have a very communication system internally built upon control, then that will also be how we act in social media, unfortunately. So we need to be very authentic, as mentioned before. We need to be very transparent in what we do before we can actually be that way towards the consumers. And also, you've probably seen some of your friends on Facebook that their social nature might be bragging. There are brands like this, and then that will be their presence in social media will be the same way. Humans, in general, we are social by nature. And we are hardwired into our bones and our brains to be social and to interact socially. And businesses that really want to have success in social media by using social media and relating to their customers, they must understand the social needs of their consumers. In Lego, we have identified a lot of different needs, but two of them are building together, so the joy of actually building things together. It's fun to build with Lego bricks alone, but it's even funner if you have something to build together with. And it's also the pride of creation. You want to show off what you basically have built. If you look at just some of the images, millions of images, literally millions of images of people building with Lego, you see a lot of images like this. You see kids and adults completely immersed into the building experience because it is just so much fun to build together. This is from a competition that is being driven worldwide by First Electronics. It's called First Lego League. And it's a competition where 70,000 teams of kids between 9 and 16 years old, they build robots with our product called Lego Mindstorms, and they compete neck to neck against each other. And if you see those competitions, you see like this, when they're starting building, these kids are amazing to build robots. And then you see when they have accomplished a challenge, you see the joy and the happiness of basically have done this. I really like this girl, she's really in it, in that competition. So this is basically the joy of building together. The second need that we are working a lot with and try to leverage is the pride of creation. So if you have kids, you've probably seen your kids coming to you with something they built, might be of Lego bricks, and look what I did. And you can search the internet, and there are thousands and thousands of images like this. So it's a deep social need for us to have recognition from our peers, to have the recognition to see, this is really amazing what you've built. And it's also, these images are not shared by the kids, they're shared by the parents that want to share them to the world. Look how amazing my kids are, and have that kind of recognition for what they've done. So these are just a very few of them. You see kids with Lego Mindstorm, cute pictures on the internet, so these are basically just random images that I've downloaded. You see some very creative builds, I don't know what that is, but I'm very sure that that kid has a very amazing story about what this is and how it's been built and what part of his world it takes. You see a lot of scary builds. This guy, he's quite amazing. He did a replica of the ISS space station while he was actually in orbit around the world. So he built that while he was weightless in the space station. And if you just, as a public service information, want to know how you build things while you're weightless, then you have to have this kind of setup with your Lego bricks to basically do this, because the Lego bricks will be flying everywhere. So how are we basically using those social needs to build campaigns? I'll give you a couple of examples on that. The first one was a campaign that we did this Christmas, and what we basically wanted to do was to use those needs, the joy of building together, and the pride of creation, to leverage and see how we could connect with a lot of consumers.
In December 2012, we wanted to create attention around the Lego brand and get people all over the world to spend time with Lego during the holiday season. The challenge: to create brand awareness and show an emotional connection between the Lego brand and key family moments during December. We decided to turn the challenge on its head and not just show, but create family moments with Lego, thereby creating an emotional bond between the brand and the consumer. Our solution was simply to add another layer of play to the Lego experience. With the Lego Happy Holiplay campaign, we gave people inspiration to build 5 different Lego figures, all part of a fairy tale, and invited them to take pictures of their creations in fun and surprising real-life locations. This simple idea created a whole new dimension to the traditional brick figures, suddenly making them part of the real world. We even gave it a name: Brickmented Reality. The campaign then ended with a short film, concluding the fairy tale written around the best pictures from Lego fans, and of course, wishing everybody a happy holiday. To launch the campaign, we used Lego's presence in social and digital media. The word spread like a wildfire and instantly resulted in thousands of likes, shares, and comments. From then on, the campaign lived a life of its own. The results: During 3 intense campaign weeks, people from 119 different countries, spreading from Japan, the US, Singapore and Germany to French Polynesia, submitted pictures to the campaign website. The campaign videos received more than 150,000 views. Blogs around the world wrote about the campaign, and judging from the tons of positive feedback we received through comments and mail, we clearly managed to create an emotional bond between LEGO and the people participating. But most importantly, the pictures submitted showed that the campaign captured the true spirit of LEGO, and the people were more imaginative and creative than we had dared to dream of. Not to mention the hours of fun people had all over the world, creating LEGO pictures together, young and old. Yes, it truly was a happy holly play. Sorry. Holiday.
So as you probably can see, it's the way that we use this and try to leverage the imagination of people and their creative skills to actually do a campaign. Because when we feel that a campaign is resonating with those social needs, then it simply just takes off, and it's nothing that we can't buy our way out of this, but we need to connect with those needs. I'll give another example, and this is a very new campaign. It's actually from last week. It was aired last Saturday, the first one. So what we did was that we have, again, it's about building together and kind of using this bond between father and son and the joy of them building together. So we did a 60-second spot that we had that was aired on the UK, ITV5 or 4 it was, during the X Factor show. And the X Factor show is huge in the UK. There's also a lot of conversations going on around X Factor. So while people are watching the show, they are tweeting about the show, and it's really amazing how I think it's like 50 tweets per second that are going out. So we have this piece of content being aired during the X Factor show, while we are live tweeting, and we are responding to everyone that are using our hashtag that is shown in the advert. Then again, we try to drive people to our Facebook application, where they can create their own kind of way of using their own images to do the same kind of advert, and then spread the word around this campaign. And I'll just show the advert to you.
We are a team bound by blood, Nan's knitwear, and our own imagination. A team that shares our resources and pools our talent, where we each bring something different to the table. We don't see eye to eye on everything, like bedtimes and Brussels sprouts. But when we're in the game, we're in the zone, because the things we build together live forever. We conceive the inconceivable, bridge the unbridgeable. And when we've built as far as we can fathom, I see a guy who will always go that extra brick. With me, let's build.
And as you can see, we have a call out and a hashtag during the advert. And what we could see was that right away people started tweeting about this campaign. And we were ready with content, with a Facebook application, with different pieces of content. So everything you see in this campaign, we have pre-created content that shows you how you can build those tiny models and keep the engagement going. So we drove people to this Facebook applications where you can do your own piece or your own version of this advert. And it really works if you have the ability to actually be real time and grab the attention of the consumer while they're there and while they're interested. Engagement, that's great, but we want to create value of it. So what we did in LEGO was basically to take our customers' social needs, connect with our business strategy, and that is basically our social media strategy. That is the strategy for how we can bridge this gap. We developed a model with 4 different ways of creating value. So we can create value in social media by increasing our sales, by improving our marketing efficiency, building our brand affinity, and lastly, by risk mitigation and making sure that we have the ability to do damage control so the company won't get hurt in social media. From then on, we basically developed a number of programs to develop the organization and to enable the organization. It's, for instance, every core processes from an idea is created to a new Lego set and to it's out on the market, then social media is part of that process, giving insights to the idea creation, giving or working with the marketeers around the comm strategies for the marketing plans, and finally in the execution of that product. And often we are also actually involved after the product is being sunsetted, because we want to make sure that people are still feeling good about Lego, even though the product might not be on the market anymore. We also have an educational program being built, so you have to take a Lego social media driver's license before you're allowed to enter social media, before you're allowed to represent the company in social media. And that's a one-day course, finishing off with a theoretical and practical exam in social media. And we've had a number of high-level VPs and so on taking this course because they were so interested in it. And what I really found was quite interesting was that when they had to do the practical exam, and the practical exam is that you had to do a Facebook post and put it out to 6.1 million people, then they really get extremely nervous, and you see their hands starting shaking when they have to basically post, because it's been a while since they've been that close in dialogue with so many consumers at the same time. But when they do it and they feel and they see that within 5 minutes they have 2,000 likes, 500 comments, and they look at me and like, now what am I going to do? And then I tell them, now you're going to answer to all of those comments. Now you're actually responsible for that communication with the consumers. Then I feel that they really are in that moment, and where they feel in this close at dialogue and in a relationship with the consumers. And I have a hard time actually dragging them away from the computer again, because they just want to continue this dialogue with the consumer. On top of those systems we have enabled in the organization, thereupon we build the campaign and all the active engagement we do. So just an example on how we can increase sales. This is a small example from a couple of years ago. So we do that every year. We do a promotion on May the 4th. That's the annual Star Wars Day. So that's the May the 4th Be With You promotion. So this year it was, you could basically get a little minifigure, exclusive R2-D2 minifigure if you bought for more than $70 on our e-commerce site. Instead of just taking that promotion and pushing it on Facebook, we asked the fan, a Lego fan, if we could borrow some of his content, because it's basically socially more, it's resonating better with our audience than just giving out a promotion. So this image with a very nice social, emotional feel to it, it went really well on social media, reached more than 1 million people. We got lots of people going to our e-commerce site, but we used the creative to basically fuel this promotion, and not just by hiding it. So a lot of people shared this just because they liked the image, but then again, someone really thought it was a nice promotion and they wanted to buy. So we did this single post, brought in within 6 hours $10,000 in revenue, and the good thing was that I only spent 15 minutes doing this post, because I was in transit in an airport and basically just posted this content. My boss was very happy when I showed her the numbers, because she thought that, well, if you can do it in 15 minutes, Lars, then you can do it 4 times per hour. You can probably do it 50 times per week, and we can hire more like you, Lars, and then we'll be fine. Unfortunately, it of course doesn't work that way, but it's just an important way to see that social media is able to create real value extremely fast if you do it the right way. Improving our marketing efficiency, we have lots of examples of that one, but I'll just show you one. This was actually the first campaign I did in Lego. You can see, I don't know if they didn't trust me, but I had a budget of $100 to do this campaign. It was actually myself that decided that we only needed $100 to do this campaign, because I wanted people to think radically different about how they do marketing. Because if you have $10 million, then you will call an agency, they will call a media agency, and they will make sure that they spend your money. But if you only have $100, then you really need to find out, how can I leverage the audience, how can I leverage the consumer to do this campaign? So this was a product we did together with Apple, and it's a quite complex product. It's a kind of an accessory, so it's both an app and a number of Lego bricks and stuff like that. It's incredibly difficult to tell about what this product actually is, so instead we focused on this guy called George, because he's very, again, easy to have a relationship with, easy to get emotional in touch with. So 6 weeks prior to the product launch, no information was out about this product. So we basically did a small competition. We told people, build George, find your bricks, build George with your own bricks, place them in a cool spot, and show us that image. Within 20 minutes, the first images started coming in. So this is from Athens, this is from Spain, Hollywood, San Francisco, Hawaii, Australia, Shanghai. He even got to the hairdresser, got a haircut. A girl took George with her to her friend's wedding. Every time there was a story around this. So every time a user really created a story around this, another user saw this and decided that George should be married himself. Unfortunately, then his ex-girlfriend showed up. So when you can see down here, relationship status, it's complicated. And if you see the whole image, she's actually pregnant. She has a small tummy. So it's a horrible story. We had a lot of people remaking album covers. So this is Smells Like Teen Spirit, the Nirvana album from the 90s. This guy, he also won the competition. He uploaded George while he built George, put him on with his motorbike while he was doing a show in Las Vegas. We got, I can't remember, it's almost 1 million impressions on this character for $100. I think that was quite efficient marketing spend. The brand affinity and how we do that in a lot of ways. This is our crowdsourcing site. So this is a site where if you have an idea about Lego, you want to have a new set being built, then you can upload your idea to this site. If you get more than 10,000 supporters, you are qualified and nominated to be elected by us to be one of the 4 products that we do every year from this site. So user-generated content and user-generated products. This is a product that actually also was selected to be a real product, Back to the Future. And you see on this side, it's amazing how much time and effort people are putting into this. So this is just the UCS Sandcrawler from Star Wars. More than 3,000 bricks in this one. And it was uploaded with schematics, marketing material, all kinds of stuff. Just a basic idea for us to take forward. We've come out with 4 products so far. This is just 2 of the latest one. Back to the Future Time Machine and Minecraft. Minecraft is almost impossible to get right now unless you want to buy it for $500 on eBay. Every time we produce a new batch, it's basically flying off the shelves. We don't do any marketing on these products, but because it's been built up, the engagement and the excitement, anticipation about these products, when they come out, we sort of created a vacuum in the market. So we just plug the product and then it's just flying off the shelves. Lastly, how we're going to take it into real time. So this is how we work on a day-to-day basis, monitoring conversations, influencers, trying to find out correlations between paid and earned media, trying to find out correlations if there are increasing search trends for our competitors. Should we counter that right away with real-time content? Should we counter that with real-time media spend? Or how should we go about it? We also do a lot of real-time content, so this was a small tribute we came out with in memory of Neil Armstrong. I think there was around 51,000 people who liked this post. This was a small thing we did together with the Ellen DeGeneres show, where we quickly, because Dwight Howard is a famous basketball player, he's a big Lego fan, and we got to know that he was appearing in the Ellen DeGeneres show, and quickly together with PR we made a small model of him that was in the show, and we real-time connected with their social media team to make sure that we could leverage the Lego affinity that this guy has around the show. And last year we also came out with the Lego iPhone. The day after the iPhone 5 we had this on our Facebook page. We leaked it, or we tried to make people aware of it, and we're also very honest that it is a pilot, it is a prototype, and we still have some issues with the resolution on the display, but these are the things we do, and also like this one.
1 backup wake-up machine for electric and so. Direct to the left, the small taxi track and hold it for the one. Right on the 230 is Stall closing and call aboard. Right, welcome.
Wait for movement.
escalado y el salto, lo hemos visto todos, el viral este, es muy bueno. Sí, muy bueno.
Location. Divide. Felix, you are clear to drop at your own discretion. I'm on my own.
Yeah, we were so unfortunately that actually Red Bull had the same idea at the same time. It was so inconvenient for us. So just to wrap up, this is what it's all about for us. It's about creating connections and building relationships. We don't think there's any easy way to go about it. There are no tricks and no shortcuts. You cannot fake it. I always get asked, so what is your trick in social media? Why is Lego successful in social media? I think it's a lot about that we actually do a lot of hard work. We try to work a lot together with the fans. We try to really focus on the fans and focus on their expectations of us and not what we're going to tell them. We want to be timely, we want to be relevant. I think we're also quite successful sometimes to be brave and do things that others haven't done before. It's a constant struggle, of course, in the company to take that step and not just look at your competitors. And finally, I think it's important to be personal and not just invest your money, but you have to invest yourself. Not just yourself in the company, but also yourself as a person. Because sometimes in social media, you will probably see a thing like this. So this was a thing that was posted on our Facebook page 2 months ago, I think, about this kid. And it was his mom that posted this image of a huge Lego fan, and he died from leukemia. And as it says, his dying wishes was to have his picture in the Lego magazine, and she figured that the next best thing to do was to have it on the Facebook page. And there you really need to have extremely qualified and emotional, competent staff in your social media team that are able to respond to this and able to internalize it and not just think about this as another opportunity. They need to be spot on whenever things like this occur. And you also need, as a brand, to be extremely humble because you have a big place in people's life and they trust your kids to play with your brand and play with your products, and then you need to take that really, really serious. So that is what Lego is all about, focusing on the consumers and being extremely humble towards their expectations and constantly trying to live up to that. Any questions?
Muchas gracias por compartir la estrategia en social media que estáis llevando alrededor del consumidor creando marcas y por hacernos sentir también como cuando éramos niños, ¿no? Si jugamos con los Lego, y seguro que muchos seguimos jugando, ¿no? Yo sigo jugando por lo menos con mi sobrinito con los Lego. ¿Preguntas? ¿Alguna pregunta?
Hello, thank you. It was a very interesting presentation. I would like to know what importance do you give to paid content against the content that you create yourselves in a percentage point? So if you had to, you have to put together the content that you create and the paid media that you put on top of it. How important is each other in relation to each other?
So how paid and our content. Yeah. I think it's very, very important to find the right balance and to find the right integration. And I think what you see right now is also a disruption in the industry about paid media agency in general, and brands and creative agencies. And you see a constant struggle where they all want to earn this kind of area in between that is really efficient. So I think it's extremely important for brands and businesses to find out how they're going to tackle this disruption that's taking place. I don't know if we found the right mix yet, but we really try to test out things and deploy paid media right away when we see something that we want to amplify, then deploy it right away. But I think it needs to be done in a very intelligent way, and also you need to have your emotions with you when you support something in social media, because you can't destroy the authentic relationship by pushing too hard with paid.
¿Más preguntas? Por allí tenemos otra.
Thank you for the presentation. It's amazing. How do you integrate the employee in this strategy? Because probably employee is client too, no? And they can participate with picture or with video. Or how this work?
Yes, we have some policies and guidelines about how employees are allowed to engage in social media. And actually we tell people that they cannot speak on our official LEGO channels unless they have a social media driver's license. So we try to make sure that we don't are too many people speaking in the same microphone, because that's quite important to just from operation point of view. So of course people are allowed to speak about social media on their own channels. We encourage them to that, but they cannot state official comments about the company, and they're not allowed to speak about others than what they can control themselves. So I cannot comment on my Facebook page about the business strategy in Asia, for instance. That's not within my resort area. So we try to have some specific policies and make sure that we allow our employees to engage in social media, but we don't want them to get hurt in social media and also to hurt the company.
Lars, muchísimas gracias por venir. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.